Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new edition of the Deep Dive with me, Ifituri. And I have in the studio with me the creator, the founder, the CEO, and MD of MeliabyJade.
Drum roll, please.
So before I even go into any other thing, let me tell you a bit about MeliabyJade. It's a clothing brand established in 2017 out of love for art, culture, and clothes. Of course, and all things beautiful, because you can see the young lady right here.
Gen Z people do.
We do everything with lips. And so with the use of hand-dyed Adire batik tie and dye Kampala, the brand offers a mix of old vintage art, I like that, with modern functional pieces that appeal to the contemporary woman. And hugs all the right places, so you don't have to worry about those.
Yeah, it's the baby ball.
It's okay.
We hide everything.
It's okay. When we wear it, when we step out, you can see the confidence in our steps when we're taking it. Let's not forget that there are bags to go with it. So we also have a brand that focuses on bags. So Jade, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for gracing the deep dive with your presence.
Thank you.
So tell us a bit about Melia. Tell us.
I think you kind of like captured what Melia is in the few sentences that you shared. But Melia is born out of love for, like, all of the things that you mentioned. So it's art, right? Which is why I kind of use only Adire and batik and stuff, because that's art, right? You have people actually putting their creativity on clothes this time around instead of on canvas or on paper. So I love art. I try to make
she loves art. A lot of it.
Exactly. I tried to make my home looks like a gallery. That was like the look I feel I was going for.
I can attest to that.
And I love clothes. I've always loved clothes, right? I was this young girl that, I was very concerned about how I looked, because I always think that, it doesn't matter about anything else. How you look gets you into certain places. Then when you now get into that room, then your brain should now take over, right? And then you can now show what you're worth. But I mean, think about it. If you dress well and you go to a gate and you're not supposed to be there, and you say to the guy, "Oh, I'm here to XYZ." Just the way you're looking,
and she has done it before. That's why I'm looking a lot like this.
Gives you access, right? So clothes I've always loved. So I just thought, okay, what's an interesting way that I can mix all of this? And then I think maybe the third thing is, I'm very concerned about, I don't like boring things. I always think that everybody's got something, so you can
earrings,
bring it.
The lashes,
Please don't say lashes. People will think I lashes. I don't do lashes. So I always think that you should there should be something interesting about you. Do you know what? Especially women. So for me, it was out of just being able to combine all of these things that I love into something that would make women the better versions of themselves. And if people are willing to pay me for it, then, why not? So that's kind of where and how Melia started. And it's been a number of years now, and we're still going strong.
Fantastic journey so far.
I love it.
This is your 6th year. Isn't it? As in, my math is bad. Let me not say our.
I think so. Unofficially, I started in 2016, I think. But officially, when I got serious with it, was about 2017. So about 6 years.
So tell me about running a business and working a 9 to 5. Might I add? Because she works a 9 to 5. But tell me about running a business.
The simplest way to think about it or to tell you about it is a lot of times I say to myself, Jade, you must be mad. Literally running a business. I mean, I've only ever lived in Nigeria, so I can't talk about living anywhere else. I run a business anywhere else. But running a business in Nigeria, first on its own, you're either mad or you're mad.
Yeah, insane.
Or insane.
Any other variation of mad.
So either you're mad or you've graduated to insane because it is difficult. It's
and no play. I'm preview to some of the experiences.
So people talk about everyone's like, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur and everything. And honestly, the only thing that has kept me going for the past 6 years is things like when I, run into people and they say, oh my God, like, I love your pieces. I wear them all the time. My husband has told me to stop wearing them. Is enough. That kind of thing. Or a guy would call me and say, oh my God, I saw a girl wearing Melia and I went to say hi to her. That's the feedback, right? That keeps me going. Because honestly, it can't be money. Because you ask yourself, that's the easier ways of making money now. It can be go and be an aristo girl or something.
A baby girl. I don't think it will last.
I don't think it will last, exactly. I'm so opinionated. So, so you ask yourself that, so what is it? Because Nigeria is a difficult terrain. And like you said, add the fact that I had a 9-to-5 pretty much since I started Melia.
Yeah. And
these are not jobs that, you can, these are jobs that are demanding and, you have to give your all. There's what's those media review and there's performance bonus. So it's a lot.
Yeah.
But to be very honest with you, I think I keep going because like I said, just that kind of feedback that you get and just me seeing women wearing Melia with the way I intended for them to wear it with the right attitude and that kind of thing. Someone saying to me like, I wore this and my husband was like, oh my God, that
looks sexy.
You know what I mean? Someone said to me was that she wore one of the pieces, the Irene 2.0, and the husband said, ooh, blank check, what do you want? I'm like, yes. And I was like, I hope you ask for money. It's not the baby part, just make sure that you get
That's the kind of feeling the comfort that comes from wearing the clothes.
And so that's what drives me. So I wake up, every year I'm always asking myself, maybe I'm not going to do it again this year. But then I wake up the next year, I'm like, oh my goodness, I have this idea and I have this style and I have this thing. So that's
another thing that is also unique about you is the pieces don't always repeat themselves in one way. So for the 6-7 years that you have been working on Melia, every year there's a different kind of piece.
Yes.
There are so many pieces that I know and love, and then you have stopped producing them.
Yeah.
So what
creates
that? Why do you do your styles that way?
Because so one of the things is I get bored easily.
Don't we all?
And so it's a bit complicated in my head. Let me see if I can break it down for you.
Please do.
So one is I get bored easily, and then I think to myself, like, why do I want to do something in perpetuity like that? Do you understand? That's on one hand. And also number two is, I think one of the things that makes me and the way I run the business a bit different is, yes, I want to get rewarded for the effort that I put in. So, provide a product and, you get paid for it, hopefully make a profit, and then you make some money off of that. But that's not the driving force. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So I'm not running a business and thinking, oh, I have to pay rent, I have to pay this one, I have to. So I don't have all of those things that kind of like that, make me desperate to sell something to death. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get
so
what
for
you
me,
mean.
the way I look at it is like, because I have pieces where people say, oh my God, I love this piece. But I'm thinking to myself like, let's make something else, And also, so there's something that I've noticed in the fashion industry in Nigeria, people are making collections, and, there seems to be this drive like, oh, at every point in time. I don't do that. In a year, I might come out with like maybe 2 or 3 or maybe 4 new designs, and then that's it. Then, you have a good run with it. So I'm not running my business in a typical way. I don't feel compelled to like, I must be doing this or I just do it the way
it feels right to
you. Exactly. And that's part of the joy for me because like I said, I'm not driven by, those things that kind of make you desperate to, I'm just,
that's
I'm
interesting.
Just driven by
making sure people look good.
Yeah, and the interest and just, just what sinks to my soul, that kind of thing. Yeah. So that's.
So will you call yourself a typical entrepreneur? Because I hear you and I'm seeing it from a different perspective, but will you call
entrepreneur? Typical does not apply to me. I don't think
not
me
because you're like,
typical,
it has to be beautiful, it has to be sexy, it has to be so I wouldn't.
Yeah, because exactly. I don't think typical would apply to me because and most entrepreneurs, right? You're doing something, so you're very concerned about the business side of things. I'm not per se. Do you understand?
Okay.
My goal is, yes, I want to make beautiful pieces and I want people to give me money in exchange for that and for what, but again, I've had you know, my transactions are very, if you look at my page on Instagram, for instance, and everything, it's like a community, it's like a family of people. So
Very
it's not,
correct.
you know, like if I'm having a good day, we just
They
about
see.
it. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? My page is a page where I would go on my page and say, oh God, where's a great place to get amala? You know, that kind of thing. And then you get like comments from everywhere saying, do you know what I mean? So that's not typical. Most people are running a business like that. Like, oh, cloth, buy. Give me money, sell.
If not,
do you know what I mean?
Move it along.
But there are people that don't even, that have probably never bought anything from me, but you know, in my DMs we're just saying like, you know, like, oh my God, this and oh, you and you know, we're just saying, that's what I enjoy. I love that interaction. I love just being able to feel like I have like this whole online community because my business is mostly online that I can interact with. So that's the fun for me. So that doesn't feed into typical entrepreneur. Do you know what I mean? I mean, there are months that are great and you know you sell, and then there are months that are not so great, and you know. For me, it's like, you know, it kind of like balances each other out. Now, you could say that because I have a 9-to-5, so I have another source of income. Yeah. That could potentially be why. I might change things if I decide I'm going to do Melia full time. Okay. But I doubt that very much because if I was running this was all I was doing full time, I'd probably go mad. So we'll keep the status quo for now.
Let's talk about your pieces.
Yeah.
If attention to detail was a person, you'll be looking at it.
Yes, that's
because I literally don't have that kind of bandwidth. But if attention to detail was a person, that we'll be looking at her right now. And I'm even thinking about it. Looking back, I don't think I've had an instance where, so you know when something is too tight and the material begins to pull, I haven't had that kind of situation with your pieces. So just tell us about that attention to detail. Because again, whether you like it or not, is batik. Yeah. But you have found the way to bring it out in the form that maybe people thought were possible, but people didn't want to try. So
I love that.
So tell us about your pieces and attention.
Thank you so much for saying that, Victory, because I remember when I first started it and everything, like that was it for me. I wanted to use it in ways that people didn't want to try. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So people kind of thought, oh, adire means that, you know, we make bubu or we make a kaftan or we make, you know, like the traditional things that, you know, people kind of associated with, or you do like a rambuba in a traditional way. Yeah. But for me, I started with making really funny things. So I made robes, you know, when I first started, I made robes because I thought, you know, like, it doesn't be fair in your house. Why are you tying rapper? Like, you know, what's his name? Like, Mama Ito, it's like tie rapper. And like, what the fuck? Am I supposed to say fuck there?
You said it already.
Why are you tying rapper? So I just thought, you know, you can be in your house and have a nice robe on, you know, it's artistic, it looks really good. Your husband's going to be like, yo, what's happening? Let me meet you in the
Not the robes with the bonnet on there.
Not
those things.
Not those. So for me, it's, you know, like, that was where I started from. And when you say things about attention to detail, because my business is an extension of me, I'm very particular. And I used to be a nightmare for everybody that I work with because if something has to be so, it has to be so. Yeah. As time has gone on over the years, I've learned that, you know, perfection sometimes chasing that can be a con as opposed to like a pro. Like, you know, is not the best thing. I don't know what's the best way to put it, but just understanding that, but again, it doesn't mean that you will take something that the quality makes no sense just because, you know, you're trying to. One of the things that like drives me insane about Nigeria is, you can manage it now. Why the fuck am I managing it?
I knew she was going to go there.
Do you understand? And, you know, so the growth for me in the business is, I remember even starting with my tailors and, you know, they would make silly mistakes and, you know, something is like this or it's bent. I'm like, don't they manage it? I'm like, no, motherfucker, nobody's managing anything. If somebody's paying you for a service, do you understand what I'm saying?
You want the best.
Do you understand? So for me, that is a driving force because, and then again is, I don't put out things that I would not wear. Yeah. So one of the biggest things that I see in the fashion space in Nigeria is people are either so eager to make a buck. Because I'm in this space, so I know how much materials go for in the market, right? And I'm not going to go to the market and buy a 600 naira per yard piece of fabric and make a dazzling style. And, you know, do you know what I mean? I won't wear that. And again,
and
not
you
to say
know
that
you
there's
wouldn't
anything
wear it.
wrong with it. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, for the if that's what you can afford, that's what you can afford. And if it's done well, then why not? Do you know what I mean? But I want my pieces to look beautiful, whether you see them in real life or whether you see them in photographs. So we live in a world where everything is edited to death. Do you know? And one of the things I say to the photographers that I work with is I'm not doing
minimal.
anything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I want it to look good, but I don't ever want people to buy the pieces and say, "Oh my God, it looked fantastic when I saw it," but then I'm looking at it, I'm holding it in my hands, I'm like, "What have I bought?" Do you know what I mean? So for me, that's key. And then something else that I said earlier is my page or my business space is like a community. So people have access to me. Do you understand? So I don't ever want someone to buy a piece and then come back and say, "Oh, but this," do you know what I mean? I can't hide behind a sales girl per se. You know, like most businesses where you don't know the owner, you just go, you know, kind of thing. So I don't ever want someone coming back to me and saying, "Oh, I bought your piece and then this was, you know." Nah, for me, if you have a complaint, that's why we have a refund, like a full 100% refund policy.
Oh, really?
And I said, I've always had that, because my thing is, I'd rather you were happy, because that's what helps my business to grow, right?
Yeah.
So if you're happy with your piece, then you're going to tell someone about it, or someone's going to see it on you and say, "Oh, that looks great." And then you say to the person, "Oh my God, yes, it looks great," and this and that. And then, so if you're not happy with the piece, I don't want you to feel like you've bought something that you're not happy with. So we have a full 100% refund policy, whether you're in Nigeria or you're
How did I not know that?
Yeah, because you've never had to use it, right?
I can always return pieces that I've won already.
So that way, you know, this is me putting my money where my mouth is, you know, because again, I hold myself by that same standard, right? I don't want to wear crappy pieces, and I would definitely not want to put crappy pieces out in
so one of the things, and we've had this conversation severally, one of the platforms you use a lot is, of course, your Instagram page.
Shout out to my Instagram people.
If she will use only Instagram website, she has a website, but she would not use it. You can go there to buy the clothes,
but again, what is life without interaction? Come to Instagram.
So that's why she's heavily on Instagram. But I think where I'm getting to with this question is, and you have said it, not just the community and the interaction, the fact that you manage it by yourself.
Yes, I do.
You engage by yourself.
Yeah.
You have 15 to 30 minutes conversation trying to get what is best for the people. I remember when I said, "Oh, I want to make something for my sister," and you're like, "Okay, give me a measurement, give me this. Can you make sure that they measure themselves? Did this. Sizes alone won't work. Give me this." So why is this important to you? Yeah.
So I'm a people person. That's me. Honestly speaking, if I could find someone tomorrow that would run the business side of Melia for me in a way that makes me happy, then I don't even want to get involved in the business side. Let me tell you how much that doesn't interest me. So many times I'd put up
when
a
you
piece,
say the business, there's
the
cost
numbers,
of sale, how much you're making,
know what I mean?
what is profit.
Yes. So you know, so it's so bad. Like most times when I put up pieces, right? So there's a new piece, I'm so eager to share it, right? So
but you haven't put a cost to it,
my dear, because we'll tell you more. As of that time, I didn't even know. As of the time I put it, I have no idea. So usually, then I'm like, "Shit, Jade, that's not very smart, Nabi. You're putting something, you know." So the business side of things, I mean, I'm learning that I have to know it. So I think in the last couple of years, because again, the kind of person that I am is I want to see growth in myself in whatever it is that I'm doing. I don't like half measure in things. So because I'm running this business, I have to learn it, right? So I'm forcing myself to learn it, and I'm getting better at it. But the part that makes me happy, it's that bit where I interact with people. That's what I enjoy. Honestly speaking, I don't know how much Melia could grow in the future that I don't want to be a part of that. Do you know what I mean? It's knowing people.
You like it as concise and manageable as it is?
So I want Melia to grow. Definitely, right? But to be honest with you, how I'm going to manage that interaction with people, if I can figure it out in a way where, even if the business has grown and is expanded and, you know, there are a lot of other people involved in things, how I can just still be a vital part of that. I have to figure it out. Because, see, the joy for me is chatting with someone who says to me, "Oh, my God, I had a baby." I'm like, "Oh, my God, send me a picture."
As in literally anyone.
Like, I swear, the funniest shit happens in my DMs. Like people, the conversations we have there is ridiculous, you know. So
and this is outside.
And this is outside of even, you know, the clothes and buying and selling. So for me, I love that. I love that. So I guess maybe eventually, so I keep saying to myself that something's got to give, right? So maybe if I go a more demanding job in the future, then, you know, what's going to happen? Or maybe one day I'm just going to wake up and say, you know, let us, what's that English word? Let us bite the bull by the
by the bullet.
Grab the whatever.
Take the bull by the horns.
You know, and maybe I'll just say, oh, you know, I'm concentrating on Melia full time, or something. But for now, you know, it's something that's the part for me that I love. Is the creating part, is the you know, interaction with people part. It's the human aspect of it that I really like, and then the business part, not so much. So yeah, I will just with people. And if you come to me and say, where can I get this? I will be happy to share and all of that. Yeah.
Really interesting. As in, I've known her for a while, but now that I'm like, oh, the mind is definitely explosive. So for people, obviously, and just putting out there, of course, Jade is Jade. And what she is sharing with us is her own way of doing. She's sharing her own way of doing business. Yeah. But what I want to ask is, what is the most important personality or trait that you should have? Because I know, yes, Nigeria is difficult.
Before you talk long, let me tell you, patience. Oh, Jesus. Oh,
okay, so tell us about
patience. Hey, I always say this, that the one thing that Melia taught me is patience. Okay. And it's interesting because I never used to be the most patient person. I just
yeah, we know.
Yeah, shut up. I just wasn't patient. Like, you know, like I don't suffer fools gladly, and I just don't understand why. Yeah, so patience was a problem. But when you're dealing with a community of people, the one thing, that I've learned is patience on this job, in this business, whatever it is. And I'm thankful for it because that has also impacted my life personally. Do you know what I mean? So whether it's your spiritual life or, you know, your life as the mother of a child, you know, and I'm thankful for it. But this business, that it has taught me, because there are all sorts of, we're so many different people in the world. It's crazy. There's someone that comes on your page, likes your stuff, but cannot for the life of them decide what they like. Okay. So me, right? And me, I know what I like. If I go into a store, I always tell the girls or the sales assistants or whatever, I'm not that customer. Don't bother. I know exactly what I like. I'm going to go for it. I will buy it and we'll keep it moving, right? There are people that are less decisive, right? Is that, decisive. And
very
so
indecisive.
They need, exactly. So they need, you know, that whole prompt and everything. And so, like you said, when I'm dealing with that, in the middle of 1 million other things that I'm doing, like I have a job, I have my child, I have all of those things, I really don't have the time to be, oh no, the hand is bent like this, oh, bend it like this, oh, use fan, blow fan into, you know, this kind of thing. I just want you,
it's like business 101. Exactly. And be sure.
I'll be exactly. I prefer that you come, you already know what you want, and then keep it moving. So, but you know, sometimes, right, I've learned that having that patience, people recognize it, because you know it's interesting how many times I've been thanked for that. When someone be like, thank you so much for having the patience for me.
I can imagine.
Or being patient with me, because you know, like, so people recognize that, you know, that kind of thing. And yes, it took a lot out of me to be that patient with you. But again, at the end of the day, right, it makes you feel good that someone took the time to be patient with you. I feel good that I learned to be just a little bit more patient and that kind of thing. And who knows, sometimes that client is the person that will talk about you on the rooftops and bring like 1 million other clients your way, who are a bit more decisive. So it's that, but that patience or more, you cannot study it.
I was about to go into another question where, what's the longest you have done in terms of trying to help an indecisive person that eventually still did not buy?
My dear, it happens. So, you know, it does happen. Yeah. Sometimes days. Oof. I'm telling you, like, they will stop, then they will pick up again the conversation from there.
I feel like I can be one of those people. But when it comes to your PC, I know what I want.
Exactly. Yeah. So, you know, it's interesting how much, and, you know, this is one of the things that, you know, I really was looking for a chance to share, because my community is mostly made up of women, right? Yeah. And it's interesting how much I don't know if it's a society conditions us to be a certain way. Because you'd see someone that would come and say, oh my God, I love those shorts, right? Yeah. But my husband will complain if I wear shorts, or my sister-in-law will have something to say, or this. And I'm thinking to myself that, you know, these are things that I don't understand. Like, I just don't. Because I'm thinking, you're a grown adult.
Woman.
Why is, you know what I mean, and everything. So that, you know, just even having a little impact in being able to have conversations with people about, like, you know, all of these kind of things. So it goes beyond selling the clothes. Do you understand? You know, because typically it's like, okay, I'm selling shorts. You don't want the shorts. Keep
fine.
This is not your bus stop. You know. So it's those interesting conversations that you have. So it gives you an insight into how women, what we're thinking, or how the society or we ourselves put constraints on ourselves. There's times people will say, oh, I don't have the legs for it. I don't have legs. I don't care. They're my legs. I will wear them. I mean, that kind of thing, you know. I mean, you have a choice.
So very self.
Yeah.
So worried about the looks.
And exactly. So one of the things that, you know, so those are some of the things that, you know, I'm hoping that, you know, these conversations and just the pieces that I put out make you think about, you know, what's stopping you, right? Life is shitty sometimes, and life changes, as you know it, in the blink of an eye. Someone's here today and then they're not here tomorrow. So you ask yourself, like, you know, every day now, that's what guides me in the things that I do and the decisions that I make. And I ask myself that if, God forbid, tomorrow or today was my last day and I'm on that bed and thinking, okay, it's time to go, I don't want to sit down there and say, oh shit, I should have worn those shorts because I really like them, but, you know, I didn't want people to talk about me or say this. Do you know what I mean? So it's those are the things. Oh, and one more thing, please, you people, women, this year, know your size. I beg you in the name of Jesus. I beg.
Our sizes fluctuate.
My day. See, that's the thing. So that's what I love about being a local brand, right? With a global this thing. So I'm selling my things to you. Yeah, I know African women's bodies, right? Yeah. Today, my hips is 42. Tomorrow is 43 and a half. The Lord moves
44.
The Lord moves in mysterious ways with our bodies. But my thing is, at least I know what range I'm operating within. Do you know what I mean? So I know, you know, typically I'm a UK 10 on top and a UK 12 at the bottom. Yeah. Sometimes I do UK 12 at the top because I like my things to be free. I don't like tight clothing. So all of that. But some women have no clue. So sometimes I'm like, you know what? Again, part of this patience thing, right? What's your size? Because I'm trying to do ready to wear. I'm not trying to measure you to come and be selling clothes to you. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, what's your size? And then, you know, they'll say, I'm not really sure. I'm like, okay, you know what? Do you have your measurements handy? Send it. Or someone said to me, oh, I think I'm a 10. I'm a UK 10. I'm like, okay, send me your measurements. And
it's 14.
And bust is 44. I'm like, and see, in the name of, even if only even if Holy Spirit
there's need for a size chart, because some people think 10 means 10 in number. That must be big.
So so it's, you know, it's all of those things. You know, just even women knowing their bodies, you know, kind of thing. Know your bodies, so know what's going on. Know that, okay, you know what, even if I've moved from this size, you know, I'm within the, you know, So it's
what's your most important productivity hack? I know tech is a challenge for you sometimes, but what's your favorite productivity hack?
That's on the air. Oh my God! Oh shit! That's big English show. Hack productivity.
So, like, if something happens, let's say you are anywhere, I don't know, and then something happens to someone. Let's say like my button flies or something, or in your line of work. Do you understand? Something has happened. Of course, things happen, and you're like, okay, this is my quick fix it. What will you fall on?
Now this is really making me think.
Okay.
Productivity hack. I would say that, to be honest with you. So again, this is probably me going to contradict myself, right? Because I usually have to be in the mood for something to do something.
Okay.
Do you get what I mean? And everything. So it will probably make me look like a liar if I say, oh, you know, just wake up in the morning and get all the important things. It's a lie, because I don't follow it. My dear, I didn't even know if I so but the
and it's not me you will be telling that to.
So but the one thing I would say is I've learned that getting the most important things done early in the day can be like a lifesaver. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Because I tend to have this habit where I'm the queen of to-do lists. I always have to-do lists. I
always write.
Yeah, I have a notebook. I still don't figure out.
She has a notebook.
Yeah, I'm old school. Have notebook, have biro, be writing where number one to do to this. Right now, so my notebook right now has my work to-do list. So that's my 9 to 5. It has my personal to-do list, and I have Melia. So I always have those 3 to-do lists.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I would say getting up and getting it out of the way helps a lot. Because if not, then you kind of like push it and push it. I'm not a night person to work. Do you understand?
Okay.
Which again is
so you want to close.
You want to close and that kind of thing. But which again is funny because if you're an entrepreneur and you're running a business, you're always on call 24/7. There are days when at 2 a.m. in the morning I wake up.
Some people are making orders.
Exactly, I'm answering messages. So there's never really a shutdown period for you. But in the last few years, as you get older, you talk sense into yourself and say you're not going to continue at this pace. So you have to kind of have some boundaries and stuff. So anything that's super important, I try to get done earlier in the day. So that if at 3 o'clock, say when I'm not in my 9 to 5 and you're on leave or whatever, if at 3 o'clock I've decided that I'm done for the day, then I'm done for the day. I can Netflix and chill, that kind of thing. So I would say that, and also because in my personal life, I found out that working out early in the morning now works a lot better for me.
You.
My tendency to cancel is less as opposed to when I used to work out in the evening after work, because my trainer is on his way. I'm like, I have to stop.
Don't
swearing.
come.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, motherfucker, do not come to this.
Okay, so it has been an awesome conversation with you, Jade, but one piece of advice you give someone, again, there will be 2 pieces because for one, you run a 9 to 5 and you're doing the business. So one piece of advice you give people that, because again, is a lot of thoughts to go into, I want to run my own business. So one piece of advice you would give someone that is literally in your shoes.
So someone that has a 9 to 5
and wants to run a business,
Shall we start with don't do it?
No, we shan't.
But if you're crazy enough and you absolutely have to do it, your business has to be something that you're really, really passionate about. Because think about it, let us not lie. Most of us don't like our 9 to 5. And that's just the truth. You're doing it because somebody's going to pay you a salary that is going to help you with the way you
sort out things,
Do you know what I mean? So imagine double whammy. You don't like your 9 to 5, then you don't like the business that you are doing. It's like, you don't want to kill yourself. Like, again, remember what I said about deathbed? When you're going, at least be able to say, okay, God, I did something I liked and I enjoyed on
correct.
That kind of thing. So it has to be something that you're interested in, like super interested in, and you're passionate about. Because at the end of the day, right, yes, the money from the 9 to 5 would never be enough. In that kind of thing. And the money from the business, even if it's going to be enough, might not come early. So imagine that, just don't do 2 things that make you unhappy. Do you know what I mean? So do the 9 to 5 because you have bills to pay, then do your thing. Because, even if somebody wasn't paying you to do it, you remember what I said? For me, it wasn't necessarily the money. All is necessary is more about like the things, the feedback that I get. You get. Say to me. So, so that would be my advice.
I've had a wonderful time with you, Jade, today. I've been speaking to Jade, why do I keep on saying co-founder?
Maybe you're seeing a partner in my future because at this point,
the founder.
Co-founder. Actually, my daughter is my.
Okay, cool. Definitely. So the founder, the creator, the CEO of MeliabyJade. You can check her out on Instagram. She's always available. In fact, check out her stories more because that's where I get my comic relief. So you can check her out on Instagram. She's MeliabyJade on Instagram. And you can check out the website. What's the website address?
www. I still have to say that, right?
No, you just say MeliabyJade.com.
Old school. I will say www.
By now you remember there are 3 W's.
Shop MeliabyJade.com. So it's
shopMeliabyJade.com. So go check it out. Order a piece. She also has bags.
Oh yeah, we went into accessories recently, and that I'm totally loving that. We make the Aduni totes. They're fantastic. No, seriously, they are fantastic. I have to have a piece. So,
and you can ask her any question about business when you follow her on Instagram. So it's been awesome having you, Jade. Thank you for gracing the deep dive.
I mean, what can I say? I
studio.
Next time I come, maybe there should be like an art.
No, we can take these several in your house and put it here.
I'll be happy to loan them to you. Who knows? My buyer might be on your timeline.
So thank you guys for joining us. Until another episode, my name has been Ifituri. The Deep Dive is brought to you by The Pod, Streamline Media, and Explore Nollywood. Catch you later.
And Jade here.